Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday again. It's been a really busy day for me of constant interviews and podcasts and promoting my summit as well. Just so that you know, my summit on October 1st and 2nd. But I wanted to welcome Kim Summer, and it's AKLC. Okay, it's like I'm pronouncing it literally like a robot. Wanted to welcome her for coming on. And I wanted to say a huge thank you to Kyle Wilson that actually introduced her. She came on to give a presentation. I was so impressed by her ability to give her presentation by being so authentic and being herself. And today's interview is actually called Stepping into Your Full Power. So, Kim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. You are so good at what you do and just the sweetest thing and so gracious and so patient. I love your caring and nurturing energy. It's like it exudes. It's just so much love coming from you. I want to do a little brief intro of Kim. So Kim is actually an intuitive life and business coach, a TED Talk speaker, and a 10-time best-selling author. And this woman has spoken on many, many stages. I think you made what, over 500 different speeches? Is that possible? How many did you?
In many years.
In many, many years. But that's a huge record to actually try to beat for sure. Kim, I wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit more by asking you, where were you born? Like, where were you born and raised, and how was your childhood like?
Yeah, oh, thank you for asking that. Yeah, I'm from Southern California, and so I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're a Valley girl." Um, but really close to Hollywood, so I grew up kind of a Hollywood kid. And luckily, I feel very grateful. My parents are still my best friends. I'm an only child. I love them. I see them all the time and go on trips with them and everything. So I had a pretty normal, like positive, great childhood. I did have a few instances of bullying as a kid,
Mm,
other kids,
yes.
and that was what really shot my confidence down and gave me some trauma that I had to, get over and heal
Mhm.
from. But it made me stronger. It made me more non-judgmental. It made me be able to help other people more. Um, but yeah, so I've only lived in several houses my whole life because I lived there and then, in LA and then moved to Orange County near kind of Huntington Beach, California, and have lived here for almost 30 years. So yeah.
And I could see that how your own experience of a very unpleasant moment in your childhood, how it made you and turn you into this very compassionate, non-judgmental human being, that you're able to actually share those beautiful value with all of us. And that's one of the things that I think really captivate in terms of your strengths, is that we see that in you. So can we expand a little bit more? Because there are so many kids out there and a lot of adults who are still living through some of those trauma by being bullied, and how that can really shut down a person. And then we can still have like trauma from that experience. And we have to kind of move past that to finding your strength again, which is stepping into your full power.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you don't realize, like I didn't realize for years until I started really doing deep work on myself, that the issues, those bullying episodes, issues, caused me to be such a people pleaser. And I had fear of being abandoned because I had a bunch of kids. One of the instances was that I had this big group of friends, and all of a sudden they just one day turned against me, like 12 of them, and started calling me names and saying, "We hate you now," and just being awful. And I was left with no friends in the neighborhood for a while. And then silly, they at that age they ended up later coming back and being like, "Oh, we're good now, we're sorry." And I probably shouldn't have been friends with them again, but I did just because I'm a kid and I didn't know that's not the decision. But
Mhm.
it later made me feel scared of being abandoned again, and so I would latch on to friendships even if they were not very positive and they were kind of toxic. And
Mhm.
so that was kind of the thing with that. So I had to really heal from those abandonment issues so I could stop people pleasing and set boundaries like we all work
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
And then another instance was more of a self-esteem thing where when I was in, I think it was sixth grade, the boys lined up the girls and were rating them on who's the prettiest, and I ended up getting chosen last. And you're a kid, you're trying to make it like it's no big deal. So I
Yeah.
just held my head high and was like, whatever. But
Hmm.
I remember after not even telling my parents, which was so silly because I would talk to them about everything, but I think I felt shame.
Hmm.
Um, and suddenly starting to try to wear more makeup to school and trying to like be enough and
Hmm.
their mind and like me more.
Hmm.
Already, like we all need to learn we're already enough.
Yeah.
Everybody the bonus. And so that really, all of that, led me to start doing more and more healing work because I had some things that were not going very well in my 20s and then later on too. And so I came to the conclusion that I really needed to work on confidence. So I started doing a lot of research on confidence and helping myself in the process, which led me to actually be a confidence coach, confidence expert per se.
I love it. I love the component of being like a confidence coach because that is huge. That is drastically really changes your life big time. All of a sudden, when you have that level of confidence and feeling like you're enough, you feel like I don't really care what the world has to say about me. I'm gonna rock myself nonetheless because I'm made as I am and I'm unique and special in all of my being. I'm so glad that you were able to do that journey and continue to help impact other people's lives that may not have found their paths just yet. But when I hear about your story of being that little kid, of, like your friends, your loyalty with them, and all of a sudden, all 12, not just like a couple of them turn on you, the entire group turn on you, I'd be mortified. And then having to go through where the boys actually started rating, I was like, oh my God, that is like, oh, I can't even possibly imagine. It would haunt me until like till this day. And to build up that courage to say, let me look at this, let me work on my internal self, let me heal from this. What was the triggering moment that said, I can't continue living this way, like people pleasing and going after the type of friendships that don't even treat me right?
Yeah, I think I didn't realize until I was about 27 and my grandma was really close to me, like
Mhm.
another passed away. And I just didn't know, I didn't have the tools on how to handle it. Even though I was working on myself and doing some personal development, I wasn't all the way integrated with it yet.
Mhm.
And I started partying and going out late hours and just not acting like myself. And I finally caught myself and went, what am I doing? This is not me. I
Mhm.
don't even know myself anymore. I feel like I've lost myself. And I was trying to escape feeling the feelings of my grandmother's death. And so I ended up going to a week-long program with a speaker named Nirka, and she studied with Tony Robbins, so she uses a lot of the similar methods of him. And I really had some deep breakthroughs doing timeline therapy and NLP and different things where I realized, like, oh my gosh, this all goes deep. Of course, I have to learn to process the grief, but also there's a lot of deep stuff about abandonment and people pleasing in there. And
Mhm.
timeline therapy was really key, and inner child work.
Mm. And if you were to look back on your story and then offer like the lessons that you learned, we kind of touch upon it a little bit because it can be extremely scary because doing inner work is like that takes work. That takes like confronting your demon. And I might not want to do that kind of work. Like, what would you tell people who in one part would like to be able to heal from that, and then that the on the other hand, mortified of what they're gonna discover on the other side.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, I know people, in my life and other people's lives that refuse to do the work because they're scared of reliving the trauma.
Yeah.
And In my beliefs, this is just mine, it's not like a fact or anything, but I believe that some people benefit from reliving it and really going step by step through it and healing it and going through the inner child work and all of that. But there are some people that the trauma was so intense that there's other ways of healing it. Like I personally even do certain types of healing and emotional release work where you don't have to, you can slightly relive it, but you don't have to go deep into
Mm,
being in, because sometimes that actually activates the trauma all over again, and the
mhm,
completely traumatized and has almost double the issues. And so I feel like it depends on the trauma and the person and
mhm,
what they're looking for. But regardless of what type of work you do to heal it, it's so worth it, because you think about, I have this much life ahead of me, and I'm either going to kind of live the way I'm living currently, or I'm going to heal these parts of me and actually feel healed, free, happier, more at peace, less stressed. I mean, there's so many beautiful gifts,
mhm,
wisdom, them, that even though it's really hard work,
mhm.
if you really look at the belief that on the outside of all of this, I'm going to feel free, I'm going to feel a natural high very often. It's
Mhm.
so, that's what I would say.
Oh, thank you for that. Because finding that inner peace inside, it's priceless. It's something that's untouchable by anybody else. Because when you have that emotional harmony of feeling like I finally come home to myself,
Mhm.
it is like very expansive because now you have the freedom of choice to choose to do things that really brings you joy rather than feeling like I'm obligated to do it because I want to buy somebody's validation. I want to be accepted or I want to be a part of name XYZ, right? So when you do that work, when you win internally, it's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. And no matter what happens, the weather, the storms on the outside, they don't affect your inner core. Would you agree with that?
100%. Like I would explain it the exact same way. And it took a long time. Like I feel like I am there. And of course, you're never done. You're always
Yeah.
getting better. But I am there in a place where I don't get affected by, like, yes, I can be sad about what's going on in the outside world, or, my gosh, I'm horrified that that happened. But it doesn't affect my emotions and my peace. I'm able to separate myself as I'm here and the rest is going on over here.
Mm.
And just the more you can heal, the more you can feel that peace at all times, like you're talking about. And it's so worth it. I just can't say it enough.
It is extremely empowering because you're standing in your own power. And so whatever is brought to you, you are not succumbing to whatever element or influence or pressure you are choosing. Does this, oh, do I like people can respond and there's different thing. And I see it kind of like the Matrix where you're slowing things down. You pick and choose what you want to have to be a part of your life, to influence you, it is a choice that you make. And standing from that point of view is very empowering. What would you say to your younger self now that you know what you know? But the beautiful you that was such a little innocent child back in the old days when your friends gang up on you and turn on you. And then when the boys rate you as last, like even to this day, fearing from rejection, I would be scared of it too. So I couldn't possibly imagine experiencing in a public setting where everybody gets to see it. Like it's one thing to feel a rejection from one person, but to be exposed. What would you say to your younger self, the three lessons for you that you would pass on to your younger self and to our younger audience, but also those who are adult who may be still dealing with some of those trauma?
Yeah, I would definitely say that you are enough. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are caring. You have great qualities. You're always enough. And you need to believe that and tell yourself that and realize you're always connected to divine or God or whatever you believe. So you're never alone. So that would probably be one. And then another one would be that you don't need to believe everything people tell you, and you don't even need to believe your own thoughts. Sometimes your thoughts are not facts, and what other people tell you are not facts. They're coming from whatever's going on in their life, and a lot of times they're very influenced by other people and they follow the crowd. And so
Mhm.
thoughts and words are not always facts. And so to be able to float above, look in on everything, look at it as, is this really true? You know, the truth. Or do I decide, no, this is not the truth? So I would say that's number two. And then for number three, I would say that you need to be choosier with who you're surrounding yourself with. And you have to feel 100% in your heart and soul that they are people you trust and that you're aligned with them and they make you feel alive and supported and uplifted and encouraged and you them. And if not, it's okay to say, okay, they're not my friend or they're just an acquaintance. And you don't need to be friends with everyone.
Oh, those are really, really good advice. I wanted to say a shout out to Helen Silverman who's watching us. Hello, Helen, for tuning in. You're like so lucky to be listening to Kim right now. So I hope you're enjoying it. If you have questions, please put the questions into the Facebook group and I'll read it out as well. But I love those advice because I think one of the biggest thing I was spoken to one of another coach of mine. And we were just two beautiful women in our own space doing amazing work individually. And at one point, she had shared her truth. And coming from a place of compassion, I was very receptive. And then it made her teared up. And of course, like like a stranger could tear up and I'll start crying for no reason because it really just it just attacks my heart. I was like, stop crying, Ray. You don't even know this person. But it does it automatically as like it triggers. I can't even control it. And then she really got me emotional and I asked her, why are you crying? And she said, because it's the first time I've been with another woman. It's easier for me to be around men, but to be in front of another woman and speak my truth because for so long, my truth was denied to me, was not accepted. And so what you said really is powerful because be choosy with the people that you want to share your energy, your happiness, your knowledge, your wisdom with. Not everybody is deserving of your gift and of your amazingness. I actually had to learn that um, in a process where I was hanging out with my sister's friends, and they're all very cool and stuff, but they have a different mentality than me, and I'm a little bit older than them. I was 7 years older than my sister, so her friends and stuff like that, or a little bit younger. And for some reason, when I was bathing in their energy, my happy self, I was just not, I don't feel seen in this particular group of people. I didn't feel like I belong. I didn't feel special. I didn't like it gave me like a really weird I couldn't even describe it, but yet this was the first time I experienced it. But outside of that, I'm easily accepted socially by I can mix like I'm like a chameleon. I can mix in anything. And it started to make me feel like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, how come I can't blend into this? I blend in with everything else. And then I made a choice. I said, well, they are very loving people. I have nothing against them. They're just not my tribe. And it's okay to love them from a distance and respect them despite your difference. But just know that is not your beautiful environment, nurturing environment that helps you grow and prosper. So I think it's important to be well surrounded with the right kind of people. And as much as I love Oprah that gives the gifts to everyone, okay, a gift for you, a gift for you, and all of that stuff, not everybody deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to say, you know, there's usually, no matter, especially if you're in the public eye, there's usually going to be like 40% of the people, maybe not as many, but about that. Let's say
Mhm.
40% of people might even be haters, might be jealous, you know, just don't like you, don't resonate with you for some reason.
Mhm.
But have that other percent, 60% or whatever, maybe more,
Mm.
that do. And those are your people. And so I remember uh Patrick, one of these, I can't think of his name right now, but a very famous actor.
Yes.
He was like, how do you handle Neil Patrick Harris? They were
Uh-huh.
asking him, they were like, how do you handle, you get a lot of haters. How do you handle them? And he's like, they do me a favor. They show me who are not my people. And I just go, boom, I close the door, delete, and pay attention to those that are my people. And I thought that's such a great advice
Hmm.
for us in the everyone's in the public eye now because of social media. So, you know,
That's a really, really good one. I'm actually going to use that one. I'm actually very good in terms of not really caring about opinions and stuff like that. I'll accept it. I won't judge it as bad. I will just think of it, oh, thank you for your opinion. But it's just an opinion, and you have every rights to your opinion. So do I. I also have rights to my opinion, and if I think I'm fabulous, well, that's my opinion of myself. And if you resonate with that, fantastic. We can play together. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Like I might not resonate with you either. And you're doing me a favor. So I don't have to clear it even more. So I love that analogy. And like for a kid who may be in that particular position that says, yes, I want to say that I'm special and I want to say that I'm enough and I want to say that I'm beautiful, but I don't believe in any of these things. Like, how can I start slowly believing in myself and seeing my own worth?
yeah, one of the it's actually not so simple, but it sounds simple.
Hmm.
Um, just to try to write a list of at least 50 things you love about yourself.
Hmm.
Um, Interesting, because when I go speak, a lot of times I'll say, how many of you can do this? And almost always, only about 10% of people raise their hand. Once in a while, in a very advanced women's group or something, they have more. And I would say, try with 10. If you can't come up with more than 10, ask a few people that you know, like, and trust, and say, how do you see me? What are my gifts and talents that you see in me? And see what they say. Add to your list and eventually try to memorize at least three qualities from your list that you kind of keep back here. So you might say, I'm compassionate, I'm wise, I'm beautiful. So you have those in the back of your mind and you write them on post it notes. You remind yourself every day throughout the day.
Hmm.
And it starts to shift those negative beliefs about yourself and realizing that all of us have thoughts that come up that are like, oh, I look gross today. Oh, I'm not good enough to do that. Or, just those awful thoughts that come up.
Hmm.
And if we learn to delete them, we can pretend to throw them out into the ocean. We can windshield wipe them away, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to help you because you're going to say, well, maybe I used to really believe that, but the person I'm stepping into doesn't believe that anymore. And so I'm going to choose new beliefs. I'm going to reframe those beliefs.
Hmm.
And even things you're not proud of yourself for in the past. Maybe you're angry at yourself or shameful or guilty about different things. You can obviously do deep work on it, but to start, you can just say, you know what, back then I didn't know any better, but now I do. So I'm starting fresh. I'm starting new. That was my past self that was giving me wisdom, that was giving me learning on this journey so I can help others and understand others and be less judgmental. But for now, I'm going to move forward, remember my three qualities, throw away the bad thoughts, and reframe things that aren't nice that come up in my mind.
That's really good. I'm gonna actually pick on you to actually name another one, but I want to expand on that one there. I think it's almost like an identity that you assign for yourself. So with the three qualities that you have, if you repeat it enough, it becomes true. It becomes like you start believing it. For example, my goal this year is to be as fit as possible. I don't plan to be an athlete because I have friends who like, oh my God, her six abs and her back is just wow. I wish I could have that. And she does all of these marathons. Great, but that is not me. That's not my identity. What I want is to be healthy in a weight that I feel energetic and I can be with my children and I have enough energy to wake up and where I'm in a good space where I receive people in a loving way. So that's what I want. But what I did was I took on this identity for myself because my old self would have said, "Oh my God, Reed, do you remember in high school you hate sports? You run the track field and you're like, you get cramp in your stomach." It's like, which kind of teacher would actually torment their kids for making them run those track? Like, who want this stuff? But today I'm a different person. Now I love all kinds of team sport. I can't get enough sport in my system. And I actually enjoy going to the gym. I don't love it. It's an effort sometimes, but I know it's good for me in the ultimate long term. And so this year for me, I visualize myself and taking on this identity of a healthy person because I want to be with my partner till the age of 92. I want to live long enough to savor our beautiful love story together that I got a third chance at love. So I'm going to steal this trick from this medical doctor who is a fitness guy. He helps people lose weight and really like be at a really good thing. So he said something that really stuck with me was visualize to yourself the image, put an image that you want. Now that we have AI, you can tell AI, build me an image of me, when I'm super fit. And then you have something to get excited about. And when that identity becomes a part of your anchor you no longer see yourself as the old version of who you are. And one thing that I say about myself, which really attracts a lot of things, is I've always repeat as a little young kid that I'm the most lucky girl in the whole wide world because I get to get love and I get to always meet amazing people and friends who always have my back and the universe always have my back. And because this is an affirmation that I believe to the core, do you know what I attract? I attract amazing people like Kim. I attract the best friends that I'm surrounded by all of these amazing people and the love of my life because that has become now my identity of the lucky girl who attracts all of these amazing things in her life. So I love your advice. So can we have a second one? Because yours you gave it was so juicy. I want to hear another one.
Yeah, and I love, by the way, what you just said is my goal this year too. And I've been doing these Legree fitness classes, which are insane. But I do that. Like there's an NLP exercise. It's like a whole process, but I do a mini one where I look at Jennifer Aniston as a model because she
Oh,
has the
she's also my actress. Yes.
yeah, best body.
Yeah.
And like seeing her, and then I see myself, and then I step into looking similar to her,
Mm.
you see it more and believe it, and I'm almost there. So that it's funny, I'm doing the same thing.
Oh, I
um
love it. And I have to say, you do have a certain feature of Jennifer Aniston, just like the facial looks with the hair and everything. Yeah,
yep,
it's so cute. And now that you mention it, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see the resemblance here. So good for your goal.
so another one I would say that's important to being true to yourself would
Yeah.
be, I have a little exercise that I recommend doing every few months. And you basically list all the things you're doing in your life now, including the people you're spending time with. And then you list your dreams, visions, and goals. And you go back and rate each item, even going
Hmm.
to lunch with someone,
Hmm.
0 to 100. 100 being that this fuels me. It's totally aligned with me. It makes me feel amazing. It's right for me. My heart says yes, that kind of thing. And obviously, anything under 100 would be like, especially if it was like 60 or 50 or 30, is like, this is not right for me. It makes me feel bad. I don't like it. And realizing that those things on your list that you're doing that are less than 100, even spending time with friends that make you feel kind of drained,
Hmm.
um, it's taking away from the energy you're putting into those dreams, visions, and goals that hopefully are all 100. And so the goal being for you to start to back away from the things that aren't 100 or find ways to make them into feeling 100, maybe making your job more exciting in certain ways or whatever it could be.
Hmm.
But realizing that the things you're doing that aren't making you feel alive and aren't aligned with your heart, you're kind of betraying yourself because you're not doing what's true to you and you're doing it anyway. And then what happens is we get moody and we don't know why. And it's really because we're doing all of these actions and favors and things that are, going against our own boundaries. And then we're going, why am I moody? Why am I kind of feeling irritated? And it's really we're irritated at ourselves
Yes.
because living true to ourselves. And all of that increases your confidence. The more you're true to yourself and doing things that, like, oh my gosh, everything I'm doing is, I'm always doing things that are 100%, unless I have to go to DMV or something, you know? Um, Even then, I try to make it 100%.
Yeah.
But otherwise, why are we doing it? Because we only live a certain amount of time. Like you said, we have to do what we really, really want to do. Time is precious, you know?
Oh, I love that advice so much. There's two things that came out of that, and it's so perfect for my community of the Choose You Choose Happiness, because that's exactly what I'm sending as a message to them, is that to choose yourself daily with intention and choosing more joy and more sparks in your life, so that can you really fill your cups up so that you can give love and it's overflowing to your partner, to your children, to your community. But you have to start first with you. And I love the trick that you said that, because when you're able to do this in a way, what you're doing is you're actually standing in alignment to your true core. And it's an instant, I would say, like it builds itself up, an instant level to reaching your level of self-confidence. When you're in alignment, you're no longer betraying to please somebody else. You're choosing it based on an internal validation for yourself. You're living to your true core and you're aligned to it. So when you choose the activity, the project, the goals, the ambition, if you want it to show up because you're coming from a space of, and I made a video about 2 days ago where I chose to go and visit my parent, not by obligation to be the good girl to please them. I am now working for my old self would have done that, but then my new self is actually choosing from a space where I want to be there. I want to give that energy. So I come with a full plate ready to receive and to give them. And I love that idea very much, because when you do more of the things that you are saying yes to because it lights you up, what it does is almost like a bank that you're banking on your level of confidence, because the more things that you're saying no to is more things that you can dedicate to the things that really uplift your life. And life is really short. So live it fully, choose it wisely, because every decision ultimately has an impact to your future. Would you agree?
100%. Yes. You and I.
We can go on forever. I just love this so much. So we're coming to a close. I want to be able to ask you, if people want to get to know more about you, Kim, and know about the program, what exciting programs do you got going on right now that you can share with the community so they can learn more?
Yeah, yeah. So you can find me on at Kim Life Coach on Instagram. And I have a publishing company called Publishing Joy, and it's publishing-joy.com. And we publish your books, from start to finish. We help you through the process, help you become a bestseller, get it out to the people, all of that. So we have that. And then I have a book project where we have just 9 openings left called Discover the Gift of Joy. It's launching next May. We're having a red carpet book launch event. And co-authors in there, including the Dalai Lama, Marianne Williamson, Jack Canfield, and many others, that it's very exciting to be in a book with them. So if you're interested, you can contact me through my Instagram or kim@kimlifecoach.com.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Kim. So please reach out to her. She's very, very knowledgeable and just the sweetest thing, and full of wisdoms and experience in her life. We only get a glimpse of who Kim's is, but she is so much more than that. And I am so privileged to actually have you say yes to being here in this beautiful community and to share all of the amazingness of you. I want to be able to leave you with the last word. If there is one quote that really spoke and tugged on your heart that has served you well in your life, so that we can pass it on to the community and keep inspiring them.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is by Jim Rohn, and it's work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
I love that. And why do you love that so much?
Because I think people, women especially, feel guilty to work on themselves, and to realize that going inward is actually going to help everyone on the outside. And so I think that realizing that we need to make that time to do things that work on ourselves will help everything and everyone in our life be better.
Because it's the one thing that nobody can actually touch after that. If you worked on yourself, you become your best version of who you are, even if there is let's say, bankruptcy, even if the world was upside down, you have the skills and the tool to be able to prevail and overcome those hardships. So thank you so much for that. I love it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for listening into it. Please reach out to Kim. Kim, what a pleasure having you here today. I'm so glad you said yes. On that note, guys, we want to wish you a fabulous Tuesday and tune in to more interviews and stuff like that. But I will see you very shortly. I'm going to be doing other lives as well. Bye, guys.